Whether you're an industry pro or just starting out, this podcast is for you. As the battlefield of work keeps shifting and the rules keep changing, real connection and unfiltered learning have never been more urgent. Welcome to a space where recruiters, leaders, deep thinkers, and career changers come together to share raw, unfiltered experiences. They say a rising tide lifts all ships, so let's rise together. This isn't just a podcast, it's your everyday survival guide. Welcome to your digital bullpen.
I love this. That was fun. Jazz hands, like fun.
Jazz hands. We've done a couple of different intros. We've even
we did the church hair thing. Yeah. So this is Jazz Hand Day. Yeah.
Ooh, I'm liking it.
Oh my God, guys! So excited to have Erin MacKenzie on your digital bullpen. Erin, I am so excited about today. We are going to try to pack in a lot because there's a lot to you in the next 25, 30 minutes. But first, let me just start by saying, guys, welcome. If you like what you're hearing, remember to tap the like button, smash that like button, comment, share, put it out there. Let's keep, spreading the love of your digital bullpen. But without further ado, Miss Erin MacKenzie, who is now recently the VP of Solution Engineering at Medical Solutions, MedSol, where basically your job is to help clients make sure their tech actually works for them. That's kind of been your career as it's transformed, and works for them, not against them. She actually drives the design right now of scalable MSCP programs that connect systems like ATS, VMSs, predictive analytics, and AI to solve complex staffing solutions. Known for her sharp strategy and focus on real ROI, Erin partners with clients to elevate what's working, what's not, and how to make it better. And at the heart of it all, her belief is that every client deserves a voice. I can't tell you how excited we are to have you on today.
Yes.
Welcome.
Paul, I need you to do all of my introductions, across the board. We're gonna
I will be your hype girl every day. Don't worry. But Erin, I can't wait. So I am gonna ask you to introduce yourself and really kind of to get off, give it a rundown of your story from start to finish. Well, we're not finished yet, but and also tell me three things that you're kind of hoping people get out of this conversation today. So fill us in. Let's go.
Since we have 25 to 30 minutes, I guess you don't want me to start on day one. It was a Wednesday. I was born. It was in the hospital.
Let's go. Was it rainy? Was it not?
There was a rainbow. There was a rainbow on the day I went home. I do know that. No, but kind of give you just a quick rundown, and I'm going to give you guys a 30,000 foot elevation. I should actually say 12,000 elevation because I actually started in the skydiving world. I was an extreme sports athlete. We used to jump from about 12,000 feet, which is why I say that. But then quickly, I had a choice in my life of going extreme sports or going back into kind of a business oriented role. And obviously, I didn't take that extreme sports path. I went the business oriented, which was much a better decision for where I was.
You can always go skydive anytime you want.
Yeah. We can jump out of a plane anytime. But really, I kind of started in the payroll side, and on the payroll side, I was working with some staffing firms, and then I got into the technology, and so I started working. My first true piece into staffing was working at Bond software, if anyone remembers that from back in the day. Dating myself a little bit, but started on the sales side and then really kind of got into staffing technology. I was having some really large conversations with some huge enterprise clients. I fell in love with the industry. I fell in love with the people, and really the fact that it was technology first, and it was how do we use technology to help us be more successful in our day-to-day. So that's kind of really how I got into it. And then I've just evolved from both the sales side. I kind of left, however, we're all sales reps at heart, whatever we do, no matter what. But I kind of transitioned out of that and drove into account management, running different organizations for building out their client success teams, their best practices, Then at Bullhorn, I helped build out their SI implementation, which is their system integration partner team on a global basis. and then moved over to Newberry and wanted to kind of get back in touch where we could be more agnostic and working with so many different clients. So
Yes.
super excited on that. And then I know that's long-winded, but you asked
Yeah.
me what 3 things do I want listeners to get out of today?
Yes. Yes.
Right? Okay. I would say the number one thing is always listen to your team, your clients, your candidates, and the people around you. And when I say listen, this means don't just listen. You want to actually not just hear them, but actually be an active listener, which we'll chat more about.
Yeah.
And then I would say make sure if you are someone, both if you're a change maker within your organization, if you are a leader, I would say make sure you're making educated decisions based off of gaps that you have in your technology, understanding what those gaps are. That can help you make really educated decisions in what technology you choose. And then we've talked about this of having fun. I think that work should not be a chore. You want to enjoy what you're
Yes.
doing. And if you're not enjoying what you're doing and you don't have a passion for it, chat with someone to make sure you're getting into the right kind of field or department within your organization or potentially outside.
Yeah.
So I always say have fun. I love
I
what
love
I
it.
do.
I obviously, and you
Right?
can tell. I mean, Erin, you are somebody that you're always willing to like pick up the phone to help. Like you're the heart you can tell is in it, and just so happy to keep diving into this story. So yeah, I love this. Thank you.
Well, and
Love it.
Erin, you shared you kind of played a lot of different roles within staffing, but I know you mentioned you ran a full desk, but it wasn't quite for you, but you stayed in the industry. So what kept you here? Why this industry?
Yes. So I didn't even put this on my LinkedIn profile, but I did run a full desk many moons ago. And this is in the era when I'm kind of dating myself here a little bit, but remember when we used to have like our file folders beside our
Yes.
desks?
Uh-huh.
And yeah, we had like our folders for,
Resumes. Yeah.
yes, all the resumes. You pull it out, you're trying to find the best one.
Yes.
So that was my full desk experience.
Yes.
And I
A
was
little
like,
harder.
yes. And it was I was like, God, this is crazy. So I had left technology, went to run a full desk, realized it wasn't for me,
Yeah.
but I loved our industry. I loved that we were a people first. I love that I could also be on the technology side and I could help impact the folks that were using those file folders and
Yes.
using their resumes,
Yes.
and how can we actually get it into an ATS or CRM so you can
Yes.
actually be useful in your day, and we can find the best jobs for the right candidates. And if they weren't the right candidate for that job, how can we take that candidate and find them something
Yes.
else? Like, so where we are today, where we have
Yeah.
like incredibly powerful AI like search and match
Yes.
tools. So
Mhm.
my big love was the people and how the technology is always evolving, and like
Yes.
how we just continue to look at how can we be a strategic impact on all the folks that we're working with and make a
Yeah.
difference, like how we do
Yeah.
every single day. We're making impacts in our lives, and I figure if we can do it with technology, let's do it.
Yeah. Well, I love that because I remember the same filing system. We upgraded a little bit because we had a notebook and you would separate your top 6
Technology.
within, right?
Oh
So
yeah.
and then now we have things just like doing things for you on the back end. So
Yeah.
it's quite an impressive like story where you started and where you're at and how you're helping people.
Yes.
You said doing things, and it's so like we have things doing things for us, but the amount of tools that are out there that
Yes.
also increase those mundane tasks. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever met Dries DeCoster from Meet Dwight. He
Mm-mm.
has, oh my God, his product is phenomenal, but it literally takes all of those mundane tasks, not like an automation, but truly mundane tasks that hits every part of a staffing organization, from the payroll team that generally tends to get left out, but has
Right.
the most tasks they have to do, to all the way throughout. And so there's so many different tools that help shape us where we're at today and can increase. So that's a good tool to kind of look at.
I love that. And Erin, you've been on both the vendor side and the agency side, and now you're back on agency. And then you've been the middleman working with all of the vendors, agnostic, as you said. So how has that shaped your perspective on how staffing is innovated over the years?
Yeah, there's definitely the amount of growth that we have. That's probably the biggest thing. So my perspective has been in like the love for the technology side and
Yeah.
watching
Yeah.
how we've grown it, because I've been able to see it both like personally and professionally how innovation has helped us. And I've also been able to be at the forefront
Hmm.
of being on the product side. I've been able to say, listen to the clients, what are they asking for? And then actually watch that get built and then
Hmm.
how that impact has made for those clients. So taking baselines is huge for me. If you guys are ever looking at metrics, taking those baselines up front, what does success mean for them? How do we watch how it's grown for clients from that 30, 60, 90 further day, like
Yeah.
ahead? And it's interesting you guys asked this question because I was on a call this morning with Toro Insights,
Hmm.
and this is Mark Hummel, Jason Smith, Tim Arnold, and they've all come from both. They've been in the agency side, they've been on the software side, and now
Hmm.
they've built their own. And they're building this amazing tool that's actually taking the insights of the ATSs and the CRMs and like those notes that we've used to put in and that we never would follow back on.
Oh yeah.
They're taking that and actually driving it into like, hey, did you remember that you had this conversation with this client 6 months
Mm.
ago? And they
Amazing.
said, hey, we're looking for somebody, reach out to me in like 4 months. And these tools are like helping you stay
Oh
on
my
top
God.
of it. Or
That's awesome.
yeah,
Oh
it's
my
just
God.
been so what kept me and what's shaping my perspective like on
Yeah.
this side has really been the growth of technology and how we're seeing it.
And I think that's Aaron, you and I like love to nerd out because like I love technology. That's always been, and you just always have this wealth of knowledge that it just surprises me every day. And like, I love this. I love it. And it's changing so quickly. It's changing so
In
quickly.
front of us.
Yeah.
Yes. Like it's crazy how much you look at where we were 6 months ago to where we are now and to where we're going to be in 6 months down the road. And like my
Hmm.
big
Yeah.
methodology is like, don't build for today, build for 2030. Like, how can we
Hmm.
drive
Mm.
an innovative front across the board?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and something that you're doing today, Erin, with medical solutions, you're the VP of Solution Engineering. We're starting to see a lot of these, I guess, newer roles come about where you
Hmm.
need somebody to kind of help an organization. So, what does that actually mean in practice? Like, you tell
Yeah.
us what that role is, because we're seeing a lot more of this type of need. And they're creating roles for people like you to come in and help.
Hmm.
Agreed. I mean, you're seeing a lot more across the board, like from enterprise all the way down, and of different roles that are coming into play. So, really,
Yeah.
kind of where my role fills the gap is it's kind of a combination between working alongside the product and the technology, working alongside our sales team, working alongside our client success team, and then
Hmm.
bridging that gap all throughout, but
Hmm.
making sure that the voice of the client is at the forefront. So
Hmm.
being a part of discovery calls, being a part of prospective client calls, understanding what do they need from a technology standpoint if technology is at the forefront of where they're looking.
Hmm.
And then how can we actually grow our products to meet their needs? And maybe not even just the needs that they have today, but what are the challenges that might be down the road? How can we actually evolve and grow for that they might not even know? Like the
Yeah.
predictive analytics, like that's going to be
Yes.
huge. How can we, especially in staffing, there's ebbs and flows to staffing, as we all
Yeah.
know. And in
Yes.
healthcare staffing more so than ever,
Oh,
we've
yes.
seen we've seen those. But we're coming upon flu season. So how
Yeah.
do we actually take insights and how do we build technology that can also say, hey, this time last year you needed X amount
Right.
of clinicians to be
Yeah.
working. So making sure that we have some of that so we can have some of that predictability. So I'm really helping bridge that feedback loops, the
Yeah.
communication, making sure the voice of the our client success team and
Yeah.
everything relates back to our product.
And you had mentioned that, and I want to dive into this, but you talked about like listening to the client's voice, and that's an interesting statement. But so, what does that actually look like? Because it sounds great, but what does that actually look like?
You hear me say it all the time too. I'm like, the client voice. But really, when I think about it, and this is my wife will probably not agree with this statement that I need to listen to her more, but we're practicing that on a personal level. But when it comes to professional, the client voice is big because it's about being on a call and you're not just listening, you're
Mm,
actually hearing them. So,
mm,
and what I mean by that is it's take the notes, let them finish the conversations, listen to everything that they're saying, and then mirror what you actually just heard. So
mm,
you're repeating back the conversation, you're acknowledging that through that repeat back, that
mhm,
mirror. And then when you're finishing the call, send them an email. You're creating a feedback loop. So, hey,
mhm.
Mr. and Mrs. Client, whoever it might be, appreciate the time. This is what I heard on our call. Did I miss anything? Am I understanding exactly what you're asking for? And this is what I feel that you need in the future. So you're
Yeah.
creating these feedback loops that makes the clients always a part of your journey. So their
Mm,
voice is always heard. And then if they're asking from a product perspective where I'm looking at, like how do we actually listen to what they're asking for? I'm going to make sure I take their information, share it with another team, and say, hey, this is what we've actually heard from you. This is what we're doing. Or we don't have this on our roadmap right now, but I'm going to stay in touch with you. So as soon as it comes off of our backlog and we schedule it in,
mm.
you're the first one to know. So
Mm.
it's creating not just a listen in that moment, it's creating a feedback loop that's going to be a journey with your clients. So you're making sure that they're never forgot about. That's my big thing about listening to the
Yeah.
client's voice, creating a relationship with them throughout.
Yeah. I love that.
I think it's big
And
for all of us.
well, yes.
Yes.
I mean, how are we supposed to help a customer, a client, if, we're not really capturing the information? And, in today's world, you have so many note takers that it does help to be able to listen more versus like
Hmm.
the actual physical of the note taking. And, something that you mentioned to kind of go back a little bit, Erin, you mentioned looking at performance baselines and
Yeah.
measurements. I believe I heard you on that. Um, but with AI,
Mm.
how does that affect performance measurements today? And how are leaders actually able to track like those outcomes?
That's a
Mm.
super great question because AI is huge. I am like a strong supporter of putting AI on top of your tools.
Mm.
And when
Yeah.
I talk about performance measurements and baselining, regardless of what tool you're using, a baseline is where you start. You need to be able to measure if an AI tool that you've put in on top is actually going to work for you. But how
Mm.
Mm.
can you measure it if you don't know what you're measuring it against? So that's
Yes.
where measuring is. That's where baselining is key. So understanding your actual baselines from performance management. But in all honesty, if I back up from that, the big thing on performance measurement is we also want to put AI tools in place where we actually have a gap.
Mm.
Because if you want to, I really kind of do an internal tech audit on your entire
Mm.
tech stack and like
Yes.
where do you have the biggest where do you need an AI tool to help you drive success? And then once you
Hmm.
kind of understand your gaps, then you can understand your baselines. You can understand what tech
Right.
tools do you need to look at. Then you can decide what does success look like for you. So
Yeah.
if you were to put this AI tool in place, what would success look like? Now you're driving your KPIs. So success is
Yeah.
going to be help you determine KPIs. And then further on down the road, then you have, okay, well, what does adoption look like? How can I also get ROI out of this? And
Hmm.
this is where, so this is kind of like the entire performance measurement. It starts at baselining, it
Yeah.
goes all the way to ROI metrics and looking at how can you get that really true return on your investment across the board. So,
Mm. Yeah.
and kind of the big thing when I look at this with AI, as you were mentioning, is like the tracking of the metrics still stay the same. Like KPIs are pretty much the same, but
Hmm.
really it's about your success is evolving. So what success is going to look like is going to change because you're kind of layering AI on top of those KPIs.
Hmm.
So now you're also looking at, okay, what was the adoption percentage of the AI tools that I've put into
Hmm.
play, right? That's a key
Mm.
thing.
Yeah.
Or we were talking earlier about the administrative tasks. Okay, well, how much time are we saving with this
Yeah.
AI tool that is going to help my recruiters or my back office or my sales team? So you
Hmm.
still have your baselining, but your success measures are going to change because you should be able to do more with
Yeah.
the AI tools.
Right.
So I love that. So a couple things that you said that I want, like, so you talked about identifying gaps, and I want to ask you, this is a twofold question. There's like one, I think as a business owner, you've spent a lot of time identifying those gaps, alongside your clients. So what are
Yep.
some of the common gaps that are out there? And because there's so many tools and solutions, like you identify a gap, like,
Mhm.
okay, now I know where my gap is. How do I start finding the solution, right? Like where do I go? Because I'm like, I mean, you go to SIA and it's like you were just talking shiny object. I want it all, right? Like, but is that I
Yes.
don't know if that's the right place to start. So kind of a
Yeah.
twofold question there.
Yeah, so the biggest thing is you do want to start. So don't be
Yeah.
afraid of all of the shiny objects that are out there.
Hmm.
And there's a lot of different organizations that can help you with your tech audits. So like to identify the gaps within your system. I know you guys know Lauren Jones with
Hmm.
Leap Advisory, so she's a great one. Another one that's out there who is Leanne Courtney with Achieve. She's got Achieve
Mm,
with .tech as her website, and she helps with tech audits and has been successful.
Yeah.
But what the biggest thing is when you're looking at your gaps, you're trying to identify where is there areas within your system. Maybe it's your sales team. Are they actually even using your ATS or your ATS CRM? Do you have a
mm,
different CRM tool for them? Are they doing things on Excel spreadsheets? Okay, well, a
right.
gap right now is the fact
Ghost
that they're not
processes,
even
right? Yeah.
using a
Yeah.
tool. Yeah.
Yeah.
If they
Yeah.
leave, all that data leaves with them. It's not even in there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what's a tool that you can put into place? Ringover just came out with this amazing new tool,
Mm.
which is an
I
AI
saw it.
coach. Did you see
Yes.
it? Oh my God.
Yes. Yes.
Arrow. Yeah. So
Yes.
it's an amazing new tool. I know it's in beta right now, but I'm like
Yeah.
really excited about it. But it
Hmm.
sits and will be on your sales calls. It transcribes everything
Yes.
and it gives you in person, on demand sales coaching for
That's
your
awesome.
teams while you're on calls. It like from what's your differentiator to how do I like tackle this objection, like pricing or anything. So
Hmm.
I think that it's identifying, that's the first step is identify those
Mhm.
gaps first.
Yeah.
Work with someone or you're narrowing it in so your SIA or ASA vendor halls don't seem like overwhelming.
Yeah.
You want
Right.
to do that research in advance
Hmm.
of truly looking at what vendors are there. And then you can kind of identify, okay, this is a vendor I want to meet with because they're going to help me
Yeah.
look at the gap that I have. And then one big thing that I am all about, which I think you guys will probably be on board with, is I like to share what is my issue with my vendor and what do I believe success is going to look like because
Yes.
a vendor that tells me, oh, we're going to give you like this is going to increase XYZ. That
Right.
yeah, we all
Yeah.
know that doesn't happen. I mean, you
Right.
want to make sure that you share your unique workflows, your unique
Yeah.
processes, because adoption doesn't happen overnight. You got to
Hmm.
make your vendor should not just be a vendor, it should be a partner
Yes.
in your success. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's probably where I would say definitely start, look at your business gaps that you have, and then identify tools that can be
Yeah.
for them. And I would use different resources to help you on that.
Yeah. And it's good. Yeah.
And I
Because we
think that's,
talked. Go
go
ahead,
ahead,
Brandon.
Paul. No, you go.
I was just saying we were talking about like it's funny because we're gonna Amy Yakowski, right? Another one that does great with this change readiness, and it's
Hmm.
like
100%.
the planning before you buy is super huge, right? And that's kind of the
Yeah.
Yeah.
conversation right now, and I love that.
That is a big like mistake I think a lot of people
Yeah.
make. And whether it's like within AI, but if it's like new technology, it's not adopting it and
Mm.
not being ready for it. So a lot of the times you see companies, it's like, oh, it's not doing what they told me it was going to do. But as we know, it's like, well, your ATS is whatever you put in it. And
Yeah.
so
Hmm.
if you're not putting the data in, how can we use that to help us? So
Hmm.
I want you to kind of share because you gave a great, step one, like find gaps, have somebody kind of help you understand some of those technologies that could help fill those gaps. But where's that mistake that you see companies make when adopting it? So
Mm.
they've they've
Yeah.
they've been onboarded, and now it's like, let's go
It's
AI,
go
but
time.
what? Yeah,
Let's
it's go
go.
time, but
Let's
then
do
everybody,
this. We've all seen that happen too.
yes.
Hmm.
Um, I think it really actually does also go back to where I was chatting about like measuring success.
Yes.
So you need to be able to have a baseline up front so then you truly can measure are you getting it right with the technology that you're adopting. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
and adoption like I was saying, it does not happen overnight. It is a longer term experience. Like the 30 days, you want people to just be logging in. Right?
Exactly.
Like we want to
Yes.
make sure people are in there. I also think that a lot of firms, to go back to like Amy Akowski, they don't do the change management. So they're not driving.
Mm,
And like change management is not just at the beginning. Change
mm,
management has to happen through all throughout. If you only have
Mhm.
change management at the beginning, you're likely going to fail within the rollout of your technology. So you
yeah.
want to use someone like an Amy to help you take the
Mhm.
entire journey. What
Yeah.
do you want your team to expect at that 30-day mark? Where should they be at that 60-day, the 90-day? And then by month 12, are we actually seeing ROI in the technology that we invested in? So
Yeah.
I think that from like firms where the mistake they're making is they're not looking at how to measure the success up front, so they don't have
Mhm.
that baselining. I did mention about not sharing with their vendor, like their vendor should really be a partner. So
Yeah.
make sure if you have crap data and you know that you have crap data in your system, you probably want to fix that before you actually engage with
Right.
someone,
Yes.
because you're not going to get the results that you want at all. So I think those are probably two of the key things is the measure success, get the baseline, have your change management, and also the key is data. You want strong
Oh
data
God.
wise.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
Data is going to be the main thing.
Yes.
excuse my French, but you say you don't put shit in, you don't get shit out, right? And
Yeah.
it's
Exactly. I'm right there
it
with. See,
still
I went
sticks.
with crap. I was trying to be
Yeah,
nicer,
yeah, it's all
but
right. This is raw. We're allowed to say
I
some of
love
those
it.
words.
I love.
It's not for children. Well,
Perfect.
I love that, and I think that again, there's so much conversation around there. And I think to your point, have a plan, understand what that plan, but then check your plan. Your plan should be checked because your plan
Yeah.
evolves,
Yeah.
right? Like it's
Yeah.
going to constantly evolve. And one of the things outside of just being a killer knowledge base of technology and how to do this right, you've also been big in like mentorship, and so you are connected in the industry through ASA, Women in Leadership. You speaking gigs. I think you just did one. You're mentoring. I guess like it a little exhausting for me to listen to all the crap. I look at what you're doing and I'm like, I am not doing enough in my day. But I guess what drives you to stay so involved? Like, why have you built this kind of like this community around you?
It hands down, and I think both of you will resonate with this and like where we're at is the people. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
there's so much to learn from one another
Hmm.
that every single time, whether I was on with ASA here recently, and I was with Cleo, I'm gonna like butcher your last name, so I'm not gonna even go for it. She is from Kelly Services. And I learned so much from her where we were co-facilitating, and it was
Yeah.
a sales call around like, hey, what's the biggest impacts that we're seeing in sales right now? How do we get through it? And it was amazing to hear her perspective and get all of the different folks that joined us. And so the reason why I stay so connected with like the women in leadership, the speaking, the mentoring
Yeah.
is they're not just learning from me, I'm learning from them.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
so when you have that collaborative approach and you have fun with it and you're
Yeah.
learning every single day, I think it just drives our success and drives
Yes.
us
Yeah.
to just who we are.
Yeah.
And I highly recommend that if folks are not like becoming a mentor or a mentee,
Hmm.
or you haven't signed up for some of these sessions, I promise you there's like a little success nugget in every single one that
Hmm.
you go
Yes.
to. And I highly encourage folks to like
Yeah.
volunteer. Like,
And
even if you're afraid, we make
yeah.
it warm
Oh,
welcomes.
I mean, Mirna, that's kind of the reason we started this podcast is to
Yes.
connect people. And it's
Yeah.
evolved now where we were just sharing best practices, how to run desks, how to be a leader.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about how you do change right. And now but it's because it's really driven us to like Mirna and I talk about all the time. I'm like, God, we just love this because we learn and it makes us
Yes.
better at what we do every day.
Yeah, like I learned from you guys listening. It's like Jeff Felicio and we started the
Yeah.
Highly Adaptive podcast, and it's the
Yes.
same idea. I was like, I found myself re-listening to a podcast just so I could
Mhm.
grab the tips back from
Yes.
it, and
Yes.
it was awesome. I was like, this is great
Yeah.
from the people that you have on it.
Well, and staffing is always revolving and evolving, excuse me. And
And
there's
revolving.
always and revolving. There is a lot of revolving in staffing, but there's always something new to learn. I mean, even just with like technology itself, you could spend all day like figuring out what's happening with technology and hiring and recruitment. There's just so many avenues. And something that I want to hear from you, Erin, because you're kind of doing this, and
Mhm.
we brought people on our show to kind of talk to us about how they've made staffing, truly a career. And
Mhm.
whether you
Yeah.
started as like, running your own desk, or like Rich Thompson started as a staffing manager and we've seen him, everything he's
Yes.
done.
Yes.
Like, what's your advice to people? Because maybe we're a little biased that we love this industry, but if you're out there and you're doing this, but maybe you haven't found the love in it, or you do love it, but maybe you're not in the right role. What's your advice to them to
Mm.
grow within staffing? How do you change your trajectory of your career within staffing?
Yeah, great question. Because I mean, I ran a full desk and that was not for me. But I loved our industry. I will
Yeah.
tell you. I was like, nope, this was not the right fit. But the probably the number one recommendation that I would put out there to people is staffing firms are always adding new technology. So if you have the ability to raise your hand, and what I
Mm-hmm.
call and many others call is be a change champion for your
Mhm.
organization. So say, I would love to be a part of like driving this technology forward. How can I be a part of the adoption team? How can I
Yes.
be upfront on like being part of the implementation and how we need to build it? That's going to help you get into potentially the operational side or the
Yes.
tech
Yeah.
side of it, because you might not want to be the one calling on
Yeah.
candidates and stuff, but it gets you into the
Mm-hmm.
technology. The other thing I say, so that's really like volunteering. Be a part of the volunteer side internally. I know Jeanette Marks actually from Airswift just
Yeah.
did. She was talking about how did she get to where she was, and she
Right.
volunteered
Yeah.
internally to get a part of being a change champion for technology rollouts. And I think
Yes.
that's huge and speaks volumes to many. The other thing that I would say is you don't have that opportunity because, I mean, sometimes you don't have any
Yeah.
technology that's being implemented.
Yeah.
I would chat with your manager. I am a firm believer of being open and honest. And so I would, if anyone ever came to me like, Erin, you know what, this role is not the right fit for me, but I love our organization. Is there other opportunities here? I am the
Yeah.
first one to help them. So I
Yes.
think that if you can find where is the best fit for each of your resources that you have on your team, or find a manager that's going to help you, that's key,
Yeah.
because
Yeah. You,
we
it's
we
yeah.
need to love what we do. How
I,
much do we work all the time?
Yeah.
yes. All the time.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah,
what's
so
crazy is
find the right.
you think about Aaron, you're like, I didn't like running a full desk, but you are still running a full desk. Like you're literally helping people transition jobs. Like you're still doing it even though you don't
Yes,
know
in
it,
a
right?
different way.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly. So you're just
Exactly. Yeah,
well,
100%.
I, so you mentioned that right in the beginning, we talked about your drive, you've all about driving big change, and that's what you're doing now. So I guess getting a little bit to know you a little bit before we go and wrap up into our fast five, what is next for you in the next 12 to 18 months? Like, what are you excited to work on? Don't give us away any of the dirty details that Richard and Ella's team
Mhm.
doesn't want us to do. But yeah, and what are you excited to work on next?
Yeah, I won't tell all the secrets that we're doing right now,
Yeah.
but this is a new side for me being over here. So the excitement that I have is I actually get to work now and directly with some of the facilities and understand the hospital facilities and understanding what are their biggest needs. I mean, being in healthcare staffing, I mean, healthcare is at the forefront of innovation as
Mm.
a whole. Healthcare
Yeah.
staffing is not there. So if
Yes.
I so if I can be on that forefront of how can we also like take the technology and drive it
Yeah.
forward. That's what I am truly, truly excited about. And I'm hoping that I might have a book in the future. So I am working on personally, I'm working on one that's going to be in collaboration with when I was at Newbury Partners, a new ebook that's coming out from a tech web series we did. So that's coming out soon.
That's awesome.
But
I love it.
but hopefully in the next 12 to 18 months, I have something else in the works. So we'll see.
I love it.
Wow, you are a busy lady, Erin. I'm like,
I do.
what? A
I
book
figured that if I
on
throw it
top of
out there, that
everything
I
else?
need to
I
make it
mean,
happen.
Myrna and I
That's
were
true.
talking about a book too, so we might get on that
Yeah.
bandwagon with you in the next for because all the stuff you collect here, it's like to your point, you go back and read them because
Yeah.
there's so much tips and stuff you get. Like we need to
Yeah.
collect those things and enshrine them.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I love it.
exactly.
Oh well,
Well,
Myrna, you want to wrap us up? Let's give this
yes.
fast four. All right.
Yes, so this part, Erin, I promise there's nothing, crazy that we're gonna ask, but it's really just to kind of get to know you on a more personal level, kind of
Yeah.
outside of the staffing world and the AI conversations that we're having. But we'll keep it classy.
Okay.
What's a show you're binge watching right now?
Ooh, I have two. I have
Okay,
two
Love it.
binge
please.
watching shows.
This is
So
my
Please,
favorite
because
part because I take so many notes.
I actually go and like watch shows after.
I love it. Okay, Great British Bake Off because I absolutely love the Great British
Yes.
Bake. I think I
Okay.
secretly want to be like Noel. Like I like want to bring like the fun to the conversation.
Yes.
And the
Yes.
other one is Slow Horses. So totally
What?
different perspectives, and
Yes.
it is very good. You can find it. I believe it's on Apple TV is what we're watching it on.
Okay.
But
Slow
Slow
horses.
Horses, I want to say there's about 4 seasons right now. It is about
Okay.
MI5. It's about the ones that got kicked out of the headquarters at MI5, and they're now
Ah,
in what's called the Slough House, and their experiences together. Highly recommend.
I love it.
Yeah,
Not even on my radar. I literally wrote it down. I love
Yes.
this.
perfect.
I
Yeah.
think you might have seen it on Apple. On Apple, they just came out with a new show where you see like it's a cooking show, but it's for like the Michelin star, and it's like super stressful to watch these people.
Next gen? You mean next gen? Oh my God, next gen chef. I will finish it. It's so good. I recommend
Okay,
it.
I
Next
need
gen
to
chef.
watch this now. It's on my list. Next
Next gen
gen.
chef.
Perfect.
Okay, so what is a non-work related hobby or passion you're into lately besides skydiving?
Yeah, well, since I don't really skydive anymore, and I've transitioned out of my extreme sports side, but I still have a passion for being outside. So I don't really have like a
Mhm.
specific hobby or passion. Like I'm not a knitter or anything like that.
Yeah.
But working from home, my motto is like just step outside and
Hmm.
go somewhere new to explore. So this last weekend, so like hiking, or we
Yeah.
try to find cool little historical facts and we'll go out and go find it in the middle of the woods. But like this last weekend, we're like, let's do a new hike. So we always try and do something new. So we
Yeah.
hiked the Wave Cave, which is out in the
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Superstition Mountains out here in Arizona. Was very awesome. So
Oh,
I got my picture like I was surfing the wave.
we will
That's
sign up for the
awesome.
next hike. You let me know, and PJ and I will come on a hike with you. We'll get Myrna out. Everybody will go for a nice hike. It'll be awesome.
I'm 100% in. We're doing this. This is
Done.
we're
I
going
love
to
it.
make this happen.
I love it.
And the weather's just perfect.
Oh,
So,
this is
It's
the
amazing in Arizona right
yeah,
now.
we're all
so
in
good.
Arizona,
Yes.
loving the weather right now.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, what's a go-to hype song, Erin, when you just need like a good
Ooh.
Mhm.
rock?
I actually have two.
Okay.
So, Pink, Let's Get This Party Started,
Oh,
because I
Yeah.
mean, who doesn't
Classic.
love
Let's
a little
go.
Pink?
Yes.
And then one that has been my go-to for many, many years is Let's Get Loud by Jennifer Lopez.
Oh my God.
Yes.
I
I
mean, both
love
of them
it.
are like
Love that
super
one.
elevating, like you just want to dance.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's time to go out. Let's go clubbing. Are you kidding? I'm in bed by
Oh.
9. Yeah, no.
I don't know if I'd go as far as saying let's go clubbing, but yes.
I love it. Erin, I just smile every time I talk to you. And I just wanted to say, like, what is something, last one is, what's something that you're grateful for right now? Because we always love to share gratitude, and I think that's huge. Wake up with it, go to bed with it. What's something that you're grateful for right now?
Yeah, I'm gonna get personal on this one.
Let's go.
I will definitely say my wife.
Yeah.
So she has been so patient and understanding, especially with like transitioning from jobs and then knowing that I kind of sit in front of my computer for hours on end. So
Yeah.
she like literally like you'll see a hand that will come through and I have like breakfast and lunch handed to me. I'm not even lying. Like it's great. So she has just, I'm truly, truly grateful for her and just what she provides to me on a daily basis and just an outlet even when I'm outside of work. So that's who I would say I'm grateful for
I
right
love it.
now
I
in this
think,
moment.
You are very, very blessed, Erin. So I'm super
yes.
happy for you.
I would
And we are so
definitely.
grateful that you joined us here on your digital bullpen. I cannot believe, wow, yes, this time flew by. And guys, if you're not following Erin, go follow her LinkedIn because there's always fun stuff. If you're looking to be connected, if you're looking for advice, like she's somebody to reach out to. And what's funny is you're not your typical person you'd reach out to when you're making ideas and changes if you're in the staffing world. But yes, Erin should be part of your network. So thank you so much for joining us today. And we had a blast. I can't
Yeah.
wait to share you with the world.
Thank you both. I love this
Yes.
so much. So appreciate you two and grateful for you two for having me on.
Oh my God, thank you. Hiking soon. Mirna said she's in. She wants it to be at least 14,000 feet. She loves the big aggressive ones. So
yes, the higher, the better. We're hearing for my life. That is
We're in. Let's do it.
I love it. Awesome. Well, thank you again. Have a wonderful day, Erin, and I can't wait to talk to you soon.